Hi, welcome to Bella's Yoga Room. Today we have our Luteal phase practice, also known as the Sorceress. So this is the phase post-ovulation in the lead up to menstruation, and it can go from anywhere, from day 18 and depending on your period all the way to day 28, 30, 35, So we often spend a lot of time in this phase, and at this point our progesterone is starting to go up, our estrogen is dropping. This can lead to disturbed sleep, insomnia, craving sugary food, acne, feeling irritable, which really all of those things are going to make anyone feel irritable. So that mood swings are going to happen here, and this can be a challenging time. So this practice is going to be a slow flow. We're going to focus on grounding, helping our body regulate to calm while all of these hormonal changes are happening. This can also be a really good video for perimenopause and also sort of in that maybe postpartum period if you've been cleared medically to start doing some gentle yoga. So we are going to be pretty simple. Stay not close to the ground. If you've got some blocks, bring them along. I'm sitting up on a bolster. That's going to come in handy, but you can use any sort of pillows. Blanket is always great just to make it a bit more comfortable and really listening to your body. So get into something comfortable. This is your home practice. And let's get started. So we are going to stay here if you are in a seated position, just to take a couple deep breaths to really check in with how we're going. So if you can, any position that's comfortable, let's just close the eyes, maybe rest the hands on the legs. And you might be feeling irritable or noticing frustration showing up, so they're all welcome here. The luteal phase is associated with that waning moon and the season of autumn, so that things are preparing for winter. And that can be a challenging time for our minds, for our body, for anyone. Sometimes we can feel that dread. And so maybe there's heaviness, so just noticing that too. Noticing the rhythm of the breath here, just letting it be however it is right now. Let's take a couple deeper breaths, intentional breaths now. Really thinking about breathing down into the belly, maybe placing one hand on the belly as we breathe in. And exhaling. Inhaling, breathing into that belly. And exhaling. Letting it go. Inhaling again. And exhaling. And just giving love as well to our body. We might be feeling bloated, starting to get a bit bloated and feeling yuck. So seeing if we can just send some kindness to our body and all the changes that are happening. Okay, let's come onto all fours. So if you are on a block or a bolster, just sort of tip that off to the side for now. Hands underneath those shoulders, knees under the hips. And as we look up, opening some space in that chest, exhaling, arching the back into our cat. Inhaling, exhaling. Inhale and exhale. Fantastic. We are going to be getting into the hips a bit. Again, our hips love to hold on to things, and autumn is a great time to let go. So we are going to just lift up that left knee and just doing some gentle little circles here. Really slow. I always rush these, so if that's happening, it's okay. Let's go the other way. Okay. And then let's straighten out that leg and then just bring that front foot up into that low lunge. So just starting here with both hands still on the ground. And then slowly coming up, maybe bringing the hands here to the hips, getting into that right hip here. Nice deep breaths. And I heard this about the menstrual cycle and sort of these different women. And so it's sort of like the wild woman, the enchantress, or the sorceress, which is what I really connected with. Let's just step that left foot a little bit further out. So just a bit wider towards the edge of that left side, and then just bringing both of the hands down here. If you wanted to put a blanket underneath that back knee, if that's just feeling a bit uncomfortable, go for it. If you do have those blocks and that feels a bit intense, you could always use the blocks here just to bring the ground up to you. Big deep breaths here again, releasing into that hip. We are going to be holding poses today a little bit longer, sort of similar to that of like a yin class, and that is typically what's recommended in our luteal phase, to ground, to slow down. You really need to respect the body. There's no point trying to run a marathon today. It's just not going to end well. So sometimes we need to listen to what the body needs and give it that. So it's exactly what you're doing. Nice deep breaths here. If you're on those blocks, maybe just putting them off to the side. I'm going to walk that left foot back so that it's sort of where it started. Placing that right hand down on the ground and just opening up here. The left side hand can be down on that hip. If it feels nice to close the eyes, feel free to do that. You could also have that hand all the way out, but that feels a bit strong, a bit too yang there for me. All right, both hands back, stepping that left knee back. We are just going to bring the knees nice and wide for a moment, toes to touch, just giving those wrists a bit of a break, allowing the head, the forehead to rest down into our extended child's pose. Nice deep breaths here. And so, as the sorceress, what I loved about that was this idea of being magic. Often maybe we think about a woman in the luteal phase as that moody witch or something. And that's really unfair, because I think it's just not, this happens to half of the population, and we can't just, not see the world for these, maybe 2 weeks in the luteal phase. But how do we actually make space and honor this phase is also an important part. One of the things about the luteal phase is it's often associated, and again, like with that sorceress, as being intuitive, telling the truth, been maybe a bit more uninhibited than you typically would be. And so those are strengths, and we do need to honor that telling the truth and maybe calling out things that you sort of let go, boundaries that people haven't respected. And it's important to do that. Last couple of breaths here. And then pressing those hands down into the ground, bringing the knees back under the hips. And we're going to go for that right side. So starting lifting up that right knee and some little circles, getting into that right hip. And again, trying to be slow here, but also, hey, do what feels like your body needs today. And let's go the other way. Let's stretch that leg out and then bring that foot in. So again here, just starting, both hands are on either side of that right foot. Maybe a little gentle movement here, and then we're gonna just calming up and then sinking in, bringing the stretch now here through that left hip. Nice deep breaths here. Fantastic. Coming up slightly, so we're going to walk that right foot to the edge of that right mat now. Coming down, hands down. And again, option to put that blanket underneath the knee. Bring those blocks too if you just can help to really create space, and trying to just let the body sink into this pose as we hold for a little bit longer. Maybe closing the eyes here. Deep breaths. And if we think back to that sorceress, that idea and the truth telling, but maybe if we're not able to tell the truth, that's going to lead to more anger and sometimes even feelings of vindictiveness, jealousy. And this can be a really, really challenging emotional states to be in. And so noticing and making space again for these emotions and trying to be curious as to why is this showing up? What do I need? What have I not been listening to maybe? What have I been pushing away? Couple more breaths here. Beautiful. Let's move those blocks off to the side. Walk that foot back in, allowing that left hand to come down next to that right foot. A little bit of space there between, and then opening up to that right side now. And just finding a variation of that right hand wherever feels comfortable. Deep breaths here. Lovely. Allowing that hand to come, right hand to come down. Step that right knee back. Wiggle out those hips a little bit. Bringing the hands nice and stretching out, taking up space on those mats. Tuck those toes underneath. We've just got one down dog today. Stepping back. Pedal out those feet. And then pushing back. Bending those knees as much as you need to. And we're just going to step that right foot up. And then just transitioning into a nice wide stance here. So we've got both legs nice and long. Hands on the hips. Let's just roll those shoulders back. And then generous bend in those knees as much as you need. We're tipping from our hips here, coming into a nice deep forward fold. Again, you could have some blocks here. You can keep the hands on the hips. Keep those deep breaths coming. We've got something really yummy coming up, don't worry. I've got you. These forward folds are really helping, again, just to regulate. Making space for all the moods. We're not trying to get rid of any emotions, but just allowing them space to process, to work through the body so they don't get stuck. That's when maybe we start lashing out or being that wicked witch that we really don't want to be. But sometimes we don't have the opportunity to regulate, and that can happen. And so again, in those moments, just finding compassion for yourself. Don't beat yourself up. Apologize, repair, and then think, what do I need? How do I stop that happening again? What could I have done differently to help myself? So bend those knees as we start to just come up slowly. Stepping to the front of that mat, and we're just going to make our way just down, bending those knees. We're going to step one foot back, then the other, and we're going to get ready for a sleeping swan pose, which is sort of the yin name for a half pigeon. This is where you'll need those props. Hopefully you've got them handy. So we are going to start with the right leg forward, hey? So we're going to put that, if you've got a blanket, get that there for that back left knee, just to make it extra soft. If you've got a bolster or a big pillow, we're going to put that up here, have your props handy where you can reach them. And we're going to step the right foot over the bolster or pillow, bringing that, allowing the right thigh to rest there. Getting nice and comfortable and making any modifications. And here, it's not about how it looks, it's how it feels. And use your props to make yourself comfortable. Get those blocks, or you could have some pillows here out in front so that we can rest the head down on those blocks and be fully supported here. So just making any modifications that you need to. And then just letting the body be heavy here. Letting the props support you, the ground support you. Closing the eyes. Beautiful deep breaths here. Noticing whatever's coming up. Maybe there's a conversation that needs to be had, or maybe there's a task that could be delegated, something that just really is hard in these few weeks. And so again, it's about us being reflective of what are the things that help me cope and what are the things that just make me want to scream. And some of the things, unfortunately, in life, we have to do the things that we don't want to do. And sometimes there's also another way to do something, and asking for help or trying to get some perspective for creative problem solving. This is a time for trusting intuition and magic that lives inside us. So, what's your body trying to tell you? Let's listen. Okay. All right, slowly coming out of that one. Moving the props a little bit. We've got to repeat that on the other side, okay? So just bringing maybe that bolster out, coming out of the pose, swapping the blanket over to the other side, bringing the left foot over that bolster and then coming so that that thigh is resting there. Making any modifications you need to, get your blocks there. And then let's come on down. These hip openers, while can be really confronting, really valuable. And again, we're in this sort of inwards reflective state, so really giving space. And again here, just allowing the body to be heavy, for the props to support you, for the ground to support you. Keep those deep breaths coming. If strong emotions are coming up, just notice. Keep breathing. Your breath is your anchor. Keep you where you need to be, no matter the storm. You can survive this. Couple more breaths here. And you could always If you're really enjoying these supported poses, pause the video and stay here for another couple of minutes. That feels like what your body needs. Otherwise, we're going to come up, and I've probably got a indentation on my head from those lovely blocks. Thank you. Bring that bolster out and just bring the knees back together. Whew. Fantastic. Okay, the last pose we're sort of going to end in today, we're going to be legs up the wall. So if you do have a blanket or a pillow, again, you want to put that underneath your bottom and hips. Go for that. And just making your way up to any surface that you have. Well, you could also, if you wanted to have that bolster, you could always put that underneath the hips if you wanted to give a little bit more space there. Making any modifications again that you need to. And this is really going to be our final pose here. Allowing the eyes to close. You might want to place the hands on the belly. And staying here for as long as time allows. And then slowly allowing the legs just to come to one side. Coming over. And in here, just in a seated position. Thank you so much for joining me in this Luteal phase and for honoring the sorceress within. Please feel free to repeat this during your Luteal cycle, and I'd love to hear how you find the practice. And I certainly honor the sorceress within you, the sorceress within me, and I'll see you next time. Thank you.